1, 2, 3.
Hi, I'm Amelia and I'm 6 years old. Hi, I'm Zosha and I'm 8 years old.
Hi everyone, this is Mommy.
What's up, everyone? I'm Daddy.
And you're listening to
It's Movie Night.
And this week we watched The Road to El Dorado.
DreamWorks Studios released this bromantic animation in 2000. It's rated PG and has a runtime of 1 hour and 29 minutes. Some other movies DreamWorks released around this time were The Prince of Egypt and Chicken Run.
Amelia, what would you say this movie's about?
It's about 2 boys who live in a town and they got chasing and then they ended up in a boat and then they got a horse to go to El Dorado.
Yeah, you got some of the pinpoints there. This movie's about 2 con men named Miguel and Tulio, and one of them has a map to the lost gold city of El Dorado, and they make their way there, but it's not good.
Doesn't go as planned.
Yes.
Some familiar voices. Tulio is voiced by Kevin Kline. He is Phoebus in The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which we covered recently. He is Artemis Gordon in Wild Wild West, Maurice in the live-action Beauty and the Beast, and parents, you may recognize him as George Monroe in the movie Life as a House.
That's a tearjerker, parents.
Miguel is voiced by Kenneth Branagh. He is Dr. Lovelace in Wild Wild West. Interesting that they are already sharing a movie.
Yeah.
He is Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, and parents, you may recognize him as the bad guy Satyr in Tenet. Cortez is voiced by Jim Cummings. You've heard him in literally almost anything animated, but a few to mention is he is Winnie the Pooh and Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. He is Ray in Princess and the Frog, and Pete in All Things Mickey Mouse. Altivo the horse is played by Frank Welker. He also has done the voice of Megatron in the cartoon and games for Transformers. He is Scooby-Doo for Scooby-Doo, Sabor in Tarzan, and he's also Abu, Raja, and the Cave of Wonders in the Aladdin animation.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I would almost say he's like the Alan Tudyk of the 90s, and if you don't know Alan Tudyk, if you've seen a Disney animation in the last 10 years, you certainly do.
Yeah.
He does Hey Hey, he does King Candy, other various animals. Didn't he do Valentino? Yes,
yeah,
and
and
Wish. Just look him up. He is in every movie.
Random little things. Usually like a goat, like a goat and a chicken, like just so weird. Like they got somebody that's a big name to do something like that.
I love it though. A few other voices worth mentioning. The Chief is played by Edward James Olmos. He is Abraham in the movie Selena. He's the dad, if anybody has seen that.
1997 Selena, yeah.
Yeah. And then Chell is voiced by Rosie Perez. Nothing really for children, but parents, if you're around our age, you will know her as the lady cop from Pineapple Express.
Yes, I know that lady, yes.
You'll be like, oh, okay. And then Zeko Khan is played by Armand Asante. He is Rico in the 1995 Judge Dredd.
Yes, he's the bad guy. And then there are 2 directors of this movie. One of them is Bibo Bergeron. I believe I'm pronouncing that right.
What a name.
Yeah. He's the co-director of Shark Tale, the animated movie. Not very fond on that movie at all.
I'll never watch it again.
Yes, but he's also the animator of some pretty big movies. 5 Goes West, which we know our buddy Adam really loves that movie. We will cover it eventually at some point, and he will be a guest on that episode. But he also did Fern Gully, which we have covered, The Iron Giant, which we have covered, and B-Movie. So kind of a mix. A lot of people hate B-Movie, so I don't know if he's good or bad or not.
I don't know. I've personally never seen B-Movie because I heard such terrible things about it. So we might have to visit it one day.
The other director is Steve Hickner, and he kind of shares that love-hate kind of vibes going on. So this is the first and only movie he directed, but he was an animator for Fox and the Hound, usually beloved. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a lot of people love that. The Land Before Time, The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Pocahontas, and The Prince of Egypt.
How is that hit or miss? You just named all good movies. Other than Land Before Time, come at me, but I was never a big fan of that.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I thought that the B-Movie one was in this, and I already said it, but it was tongue-tied for me. My bad.
So scratch that. Steve Hickner's a pretty good dude, all right?
He was behind some good animations. So first impressions of this movie. Mommy, we said this movie came out in 2000. Did you see it in theaters? How old were you, and do you remember liking it?
So funny story. No, I did not see this in theaters. The first time I saw this was around 2007, so I was 15. And I never saw this movie in English. I thought this movie was simply Drogado El Dorado because my first boyfriend at the time, we had it on a DVD. and we watched this in Polish. I thought this was a strict Polish movie. Why the DreamWorks logo at the beginning never tipped me off to it, but until Maddie and I started dating, he was like, yeah, the road to El Dorado, I want to show you. You don't remember this from when we were younger? And he put it on, and I was like, wait a minute.
This is a completely different movie.
I started like singing all the songs in Polish, and Maddie did this slow turn to me like, what is happening right now? And I was like, I've literally never seen this movie in English. So the voices were weird, but I didn't even know Elton John did the music for this movie until we watched it.
So it wasn't like an Elton John, like they didn't have him record it?
No, it was
okay.
all Polish actors and Polish voices. So their voices were so deep when we watched it. And then, I heard Elton John and I was like, what is happening right now? What about you? Did you see this in theaters?
I did see this in theaters.
Nice.
My parents brought my brother and I to see this, and I remember enjoying it very much. I thought it was really good.
It's a good adventure, especially when you're a little boy. You're like, oh, cool, they're going to go find some gold.
Yeah, and because I did see this in theaters, I was 10 years old, maybe 9 when this came out, March 2000.
Yeah,
okay, so I was 9.
9.
Yeah. And then for the girls, Zosha has seen this movie before.
Oh, both of them have.
Oh, they both have seen it.
Yeah, they watch it in the car all the time because this is one of the DVDs that we have in our pack.
Okay, cool.
So do we have any title drops in this movie, Zosha?
No, but they do say El Dorado, not the road to El Dorado.
So it's close, but not quite. Amelia, how about the cat cam? Did you spot any cats?
There's no cats, but there is a big jaguar statue.
Yes, this stone jaguar comes to life. So we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will. So something I thought was interesting that I want to tell you guys, this story is based off of Rudyard Kipling's The Man Who Would Be King. Rudyard Kipling is the one for the live-action Jungle Book movie that we really liked, or at least Mommy and I really liked.
Love it.
And it features con men who trick a native culture, and then they have disastrous results. That's like the punchline, or the
outline, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh man, I wonder if this is darker, like the story of it. Like maybe it doesn't work out well for them. I would have to look into it, but I thought that was kind of interesting.
It is.
And then I wanted to ask, Miguel and Tulio get to this island and they're in a rowboat, and it's their only way off of this island, yet they still go and look for this city of gold. I don't know how they're going to get gold off this island in a rowboat, but they go for it.
Right, without sinking.
But it's something that has no value in the jungle when you're lost. So what is one thing you would want with you if you were lost in a jungle? Zosha, what's something that you would want on an island?
A map.
A map. And what would the map do?
It would show me, if I were in a boat with all my stuff, it would show me where to go in my boat.
Okay.
Like how to get home?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Amelia, what would you want?
A big Hello Kitty balloon so it can fly me in the air to go back to, so then it can bring me to my home.
So like a big hot air balloon, Hello Kitty?
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. Mommy?
I'm going to go satellite phone so I can call someone to come get me.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be worth having.
What about you, Daddy?
I would definitely want like a mega yacht. Just make it a cruise ship. Maybe I would need a captain as well on that. If I had to go one thing, I guess I would just go a regular yacht then, because I think I could one man a regular yacht and get back home.
So a form of luxury boat to get you home.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now let's hit some favorite scenes.
Amelia, what was your favorite?
I like when Miguel and Tulio get scared of the statue and they scream like girls.
Now everyone will know the truth of your divinity.
That is a funny part. It tells that they're not as brave as they think they are for being adventurous. Zosha, did you have a favorite scene?
I like when they get caught because they're cheating on the game, and then they pretend that they're fighting so they can get away.
He gave me loaded dice. Guard, arrest him.
You dare to impugn my honor? He was the one who was cheating. Arrest him!
He tricked these sailors and took their money.
Oh,
Now I'm the thief?
yes?
Take a look in the mirror, pal.
Oh, you better give them their money back or I'll...
On guard yourself. I will give you the honor of a quick and painless death. But not with that. I prefer to fight fairly.
It further introduces that con man act that they're doing.
Slipping into lies so easily.
Did you have a favorite scene, Mommy?
So I really like the game that they play in El Dorado because it's absolutely ridiculous for normal human beings to play this game. Like where the hoop is at the top and they like hip check it and everything.
The hoop is sideways too.
It is. It is ridiculous. And again, it's them being con artists that they switch out the ball with like an armadillo that looks like the ball so that it can win for them and go back and forth in this hoop.
Yeah.
So because, they're supposed to look like gods and there was no way they were playing this game.
They were playing against like 13 big dudes that are like I think Zekel Khan says, yeah, they're the best at what they do, or they're the best at ball players in a round.
My lords, Chief Tennerbuck's warriors are the finest ball players in the city. 15 mere mortals against 2 gods. I realize it's a bit uneven, but I do hope they'll challenge you enough to make the game interesting.
So yeah, the fact that these two men who are
Scrawny.
supposed to be gods are going to lose to them, it's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and they're just so scrawny in comparison to all these like warriors and people of El Dorado. It's a fun scene. What about you, Daddy?
I like the scene where they are escaping off the ship. So they are taken prisoner at one point, and they're put into this holding area. And Miguel, I think it is, has this apple, and he's like, "Hey, talking to Altivo, the horse." And he's like, "Hey, go get a pry bar.
Find the pry bar.
Yes, find the pry bar. He can't understand pry bar. He's a dumb horse. There's no way.
Well, it's not a pry bar.
So they finally sneak out at night, and Altivo wants his apple as they're coming down the side of the ship. And he's like, he throws the apple up, and it hits like the sail. It hits a bunch of stuff, and it falls back into the water. And the next thing you see is the horse jumping off the ship into the water. And it's just a funny scene. I laughed so hard this time, and I can't remember if I liked this earlier. But yeah, the scene of them escaping the ship was just super funny.
Yeah, Altivo was a little bit too committed to getting that apple. But honestly, I'm glad it happened because Miguel and Altivo's friendship is just so beautiful and pure.
They are cute. So some positives of this movie. So the music is done by Sir Elton John. He has a couple songs in this. El Dorado, The Trail We Blaze, It's Tough to Be a God, Friends Never Say Goodbye. All very good songs. I like these songs so much that I had asked you when we were watching it, I was like, man, is this movie better? Like the music, is it better than Tarzan? Like,
Absolutely not.
No? Okay. Is it better than, was it Brother Bear, I think Phil Collins does the music for?
I would say that it's on par with Phil Collins' Brother Bear, but I am more likely to sing these songs, even if they are the Polish versions. I guess he still wrote the melodies of it.
Okay. I don't think it's better than Tarzan, but I think that it was a good comparison of like these two iconic music artists were providing songs for these animated movies at the time. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think one of the pros is definitely the music that Elton John does for this movie.
Yes, he helped bring this as well as The Lion King to life with his music.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot about The Lion King.
Oh yeah, can't forget about that. Can You Feel the Love Tonight? That's probably one of the...
Can You Feel the Love Tonight's all right.
Yeah, but between that and The Circle of Life, his versions of them, they're top notch. A lot of people love them.
I don't know if he wrote Circle of Life, though.
I know he does sing it, though.
He does sing it.
Another high point is the fun characters and the acting. Like, they played off each other so well. And I think it was because it was recorded with the actors in the same room together. At this time, it was rare, but Disney was doing it, so DreamWorks wanted to try it out, and it worked. Like, the banter between Miguel and Tulio is wonderful. Like, you sense that sarcasm, this camaraderie, everything.
Yeah, you could sense that they're in a room together for sure, because you wouldn't get some of these reactions or, like, gasps or anything in their mannerisms if they weren't in the same room together. They can't play off each other. Like, acting is reacting, so you can't really react if you're not in the same room as the person you're acting with.
You capped the map, but you couldn't grab a little more food! Even those mountains! You said so yourself! It could be possible! And it is! It really is the map to El Dorado!
You drank seawater, didn't you?
Oh, come on!
I'm not coming on!
Yeah, I couldn't imagine trying to do something like this in a booth by myself.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, like, Miguel and Tulio, and we both like the sarcasm in this movie. It's just these characters sound like they've known each other. They know how to react to each other, and it's wonderful.
It makes it better to watch as an adult, like, you know, a parent sitting down to watch this with their kid, because even though it's an animation, the dialogue is very much so adult.
Yeah,
It is how
very
we
grown
talk
up.
to each other. Yep, how we talk to our friends. It might twist into a negative for kids because the talking is so adult, but we enjoyed it.
We did. And on the note of it being an animation, it does look great. The scene where they get stuck in the barrels look like real wood. Whenever they're out to sea or there is water involved, the water looks super cool. And then the entrance, when they come right into El Dorado, you're just like, wow, you're in just as much awe as the characters are, because it just looks beautiful. Like whatever they did at this time, because there was also like a rack focus where you see El Dorado and it zooms in on the buildings, but the sky is still going past or it's out of focus. Like they did a good job with the animation. I thought it looked really good, and it still holds up.
You mentioned the boat scene. I love that when they're on that like platform that gets raised up and transferred onto the ship. I thought that looked great.
It looks so good.
Yeah. Almost like, wait a minute, what's happening? Are we transitioning out of an animation to real life? What's happening?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The last positive I want to hit on is the messages. There are multiple messages, I think, in this movie. The first one is, don't pretend to be something or someone you're not. It's not going to work out. Eventually, it's going to catch up with you.
Yep, Miguel and Tulio decided they want to pretend to be gods, and does not work out well.
No, because we are mere mortals, all right? Try not to be anything else. Also, don't be greedy. You are not going to get anything about trying to get everything you want and be selfish and get the gold or get the girl or get whatever. Like, share. Sharing is caring.
It is.
And then lastly, a more grown-up theme, I would say, is to try not to let relationships get in the way of your friendships, because Chell starts to drive a hard wedge between Miguel and Tulio, and clearly they have such a bromance. You don't need this woman coming in between your best mate.
Nope. And that goes right into the negatives.
Yeah, so Chell, as a woman and a mother of 2 daughters, Chell is just super inappropriate, suggestive, revealing. She is just not a good female representation.
She's not. And she's like the only female representation in this movie. There's some like village women that walk around, but
she's the only one who speaks.
She is, yes, that's what I'm looking for.
I got you. Yeah, and she's just conniving and she's selfish. And I mean, eventually it seems like she does actually like Tulio, but
I don't think so. I think she's just trying to get out of El Dorado. She's
I
using
think so
Tulio.
too. It's a little bit of both. Like maybe she enjoys the adventure, but maybe not necessarily him in particular.
I can't afford any distractions. So I'm sorry. So sorry. But perhaps another time? Another place?
Too bad. I'm free now.
I'm not really sure I trust you.
I'm not really asking you to trust me, am I?
Okay.
She's a con man in her own.
Yes, she is a con woman for sure. And I just, not a good part.
I agree, and that goes right into a negative about Miguel and Tulio. Yes, they are fun characters to watch, but they are awful role models. It's crazy that we're made to like these characters who cheat, lie, steal, and we follow them throughout this adventure, and we essentially want them to win and make it out, and the best wishes for them.
But yeah, we shouldn't want them to get the gold and have a happy ending, because realistically, they're just not great people.
Yeah, that's right. They're criminals, and I don't want criminals to be the heroes at the end of movies.
No, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want Cortez to win either, but he's also a criminal and, like, a dictator, if you will, so let's not.
Yeah, they're just not the best characters.
I also don't like that they portray the poor people of El Dorado to be destined for exploitation and slavery to these gods. Like, I know it's an ancient culture thing, but this movie was made in 2000, and it is not a good look for a kid's movie to have 2 scrawny white dudes show up and everybody be like, oh yes, let's serve you and sacrifice people. This is awesome. And Zekel Khan is like, please enslave me. And it's like, no.
Yeah, I don't know what DreamWorks was thinking at the time, because right before this, like we had said, was Prince of Egypt. So,
and that was all about letting the people go.
Yeah, it also involved slaves though. So like this,
we backtracked a little bit.
Yeah. And then I couldn't believe that this movie was only 1 hour and 29 minutes because it had some really boring moments. I do like the music, but I feel like the production used them as like a crutch on themselves to stand on, because they were like, what's going on here? Nothing really. So let's throw a song in here so people feel like they're getting entertained. And like, it just wasn't very entertaining. Like, we said these favorite scenes of ours, And they're really the only big scenes that happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, otherwise they're pretty much just hanging out in El Dorado.
Yeah, not a big fan of it. I felt every minute of that 1 hour and 29 minutes. And then what other negatives or positives come with parental guidance, Mommy?
So language, there's a couple instances of some very minor swear words. Violence, there's some dueling and sword use. Miguel receives a head injury that causes him to bleed. And then Sekal Khan cuts his hand open and smears the blood on a wall. Sekal Khan in general just keeps trying to sacrifice people to the gods. He does succeed with one man being pushed into a potion, let's say, he's brewing. And then that potion in turn brings a stone jaguar to life who just wreaks havoc on the city. Just destroying everything. And I think this stone jaguar definitely falls under scary as well because, he's got the glowing eyes and Sekal Khan gives off creep vibes from the moment he's on screen. Like his eyes, face, just everything about him. He's a solid villain.
Yeah, he is.
And I think he's scarier than Cortez.
Ooh, yeah, he is. We get more time with Sekal Khan, though, so I could see why he is scarier.
Yeah, you can just tell he's got so many, conniving motives, and I don't like that. Versus Cortez is I'm just going to be bad all the time, but he doesn't have, the conniving aspect.
Oh, he's not sneaky, okay.
Yes, yeah. And that makes somebody even worse when you're sneaky, too.
It does.
Some grown-up stuff. There is some cigar use and drinking shown. Tulio displays signs of a hangover in one scene. And then we see Miguel and Tulio's butts in one part, but it's funny because Monkey stole their clothes and they're chasing after them. So it's very innocent. And like we had said, the biggest issue is Chell. She's just presented as temptation and appears very promiscuous. There are some flirtatious scenes between Tulio and Chell, and then we eventually see them passionately kiss. Cry factor? None.
And then as for an age recommendation, you know your kids better than we do. We're just here to give our opinions. While I do think this movie is fun and colorful for the younger audience, a lot of the jokes and sarcasm are made for older audience. So I'm not exactly sure who they were making this movie for, but I'm going to try to meet in the middle and say maybe 10 and up for my age recommendation.
I'd say that's fair because, yeah, like I said, the dialogue and the banter is not so much for little ones.
No. As for the Rotten Tomato critics, they have this movie set at a 49%, which is a thumbs down. Audiences have it higher at a 66%, which is a thumbs middle. Let's see how it holds up in our house. Zosha, do you give The Road to El Dorado a thumbs up, a thumbs middle, or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Why thumbs up?
Because it's really funny.
It's really funny. Okay. Amelia?
Thumbs middle.
Why a thumbs middle?
Because the Jaguar, I don't really like this, so I'll give it a thumbs middle.
Okay. Mommy?
So this one's hard for me because I'm teetering between a thumbs middle and a thumbs down, but I think I'm going to go thumbs middle because it's not as bad as some true thumbs down movies. I like, as an adult, that the sarcasm saves this movie for me as well as the music. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it at a solid thumbs middle. What about you?
I think the sarcasm and the music, like you had said, does save it a little bit, but I'm going to go thumbs down. If those are the only redeeming factors of this movie, out of the hour and 29 minutes that I said I was mostly bored with, then that's not enough for me. So I'm going thumbs down.
All right.
And if any of you would like to add The Road to El Dorado to your movie night list, it is currently streaming on Netflix or available across platforms.
And after watching, let us know if you give it thumbs up, thumbs middle, or thumbs down.
And when you want to let us know what you think about the movie, please find us on social media. We like to post pictures of us on our movie nights, letting you know what snacks and sweets we're eating. It's a fun place to hang out.
Our Facebook is It's Movie Night, and our Instagram is It's Movie Night Pod. Thank you for listening. Join us next week for another movie night. Bye.
My friend, it's time to be a god, but if